I destroyed a $500 phono cartridge with a cleaning cloth. And guess what? It was completely my fault. But that disaster, it taught me more about vinyl playback years of casual listening ever did. Hopefully, by the end of this video, you will understand more about the basics of moving coil versus moving magnet cartridges, the differences, the trade-offs, why some cost $50 and other cost $3,000 or more. And hopefully, again, you will know more about which one is better for you. Hello boys and girls, and welcome back to another story of the Sound Lab, where the English language gets butchered episode by episode. Let me take you back to the day I almost fainted. I've been away from vinyl for over a decade. Life moves, you know, and how it goes, and priorities change. But when I finally settled down, I went all in. A McIntosh MT5 turntable, beautiful, visual matching to my system, good reviews. I didn't overthink about it. Amazing engineering. And honestly, part of me thought, if it sucks, at least it looks good on a shelf. But it didn't suck. It was incredible. Few weeks into vinyl, I started buying reference albums, classic pressings, and I was spending way too much. Keep getting perspective with living my audiophile life. Then one day, I tried to put on an album and the sound was awful, distorted, scratchy. Something was very wrong. And I called my dealer. He tolerated me for about 5 seconds and said, and I quote, "These signs you need to either execute the cleaning cloth or fire your cleaning lady." Now, we have a very specific rule in our house that everyone signed up on a notarized document. Minimum proximity to the McIntosh system is 3 meters and nobody touches the audio gear. And I mean nobody. So, I confronted my spouse about the cleaning lady breaking the rules. There was shouting, accusations and drama. And then I remembered. I had cleaned myself the turntable the night before when friends were coming over for one of our listening sessions. I got out of my phone, turned on the workbench, the LED light there, looked at the stylus under a magnification. The needle was bent, not broken, just sad and crooked. The cleaning cloth had caught the cantilever. I had destroyed my own cartridge and blamed everyone else except the real guilty one, myself. So I did what any panicked audiophile would do. I got in the car, in my pajamas, and drove to the dealer. My dealer confirmed what I already knew. A replacement needed. Or we could change the top part of the cartridge, would take some weeks, the stylus plus the cantilever part, but it cost almost as much as a new cartridge. And then he told me the price. The cartridge cost is truly a high percentage of the turntable itself. For such a tiny part, I was shocked. I nearly fainted for a second time. Right there, in the store. But I needed music. I needed my vinyls back, the ones that I forgotten. So I bought a cheap, temporary replacement for a few $100s, something to get me through while I figured out what to do. And that's when everything changed. Because over the next few weeks, I became obsessed. How could these tiny pieces of metal and magnets cost so much? What I was actually paying for? Was there really a difference? So I went down the rabbit hole. And what I learned, it's actually fascinating. So let me explain in as little details as I can. Let's start with moving magnet cartridges. These are what most people use and never think about. Here's how they work. The stylus, the needle, connects to a tiny magnet. When the needle traces the groove of a record, that magnet moves between fixed coils of wire. The movement creates an electrical signal. That signal is what becomes later music. The key thing, the magnet is moving. Magnets are relatively heavy, so there is more mass bouncing around those grooves. The moving magnet cartridges typically cost between $50 to $300. The stylus is replaceable. If you break it, like I did, you just buy a new needle. Depending on the manufacturer, this is between 30 and 70% of the cartridge value. Crisis? Almost adverted. Output is high, around 5 millivolts. Your phono preamp will love this. It's pretty much comparable with most things. Now on Moving Coil, this is where things get expensive and complicated. In a Moving Coil cartridge, it's reversed. The coils of wires move, attached to the stylus. The magnet stays fixed. And this detail changes everything. Wire coils are much lighter than magnets, less mass, which means they can track the groove more precisely. They respond faster to tiny vibrations. And the detail retrieval, it is noticeably better. But here is the catch. Moving cartridges cost anywhere from $300 to tens of thousands of dollars. The output is low, 0.2 to 0.5 millivolts. You need compatible and competent phono preamps or a step-up transformer. Extra cost, extra complexity. And when you break the stylus, there is no solution. After my expensive disaster, I decided to really understand this. So I bought a number of cartridges and also worked my way through the Sumiko lineup. It is a sister company of McIntosh Group, so I thought would have better synergy. Starting with the Sumiko lineup, I tried the Amethyst moving magnet and the Blue Point No. 2 in the mid-entry range, and then from the higher end range, the Songbird and the Starling moving coil cartridges. I also purchased a Audio-Technica dual moving magnet, the VM95SH, and a ClearAudio Performer V2. This is again a moving magnet one. All these cartridges have different price points, different characteristics, and different sound signature. All four of my mid-tier cartridges are moving magnet, with the Amethyst being the most expensive of these. McIntosh wears it as the stock cartridge for the MT5 turntable, which proves its competency for a $10,000 turntable as a reference point. And it does perform excellently without screaming upgrade time, as the courtesy power cables do, the ones that are included in the box. Between the Sumiko Blue Point No. 2 and the Amethyst, there is no chaos. The Blue Point will come out as more detailed and dynamic due to the treatment of the high frequencies. However, the Amethyst delivers more dynamic range and high level retrieval, sounding more airy and musical, and delivers that more naturally and unchallenged. The Sumiko Amethyst, in my opinion, is a superior all-around option, balancing between an audiophile cartridge and an everyday use, highly revealing cartridge. The revelation, however, is Audio-Technica's dual moving magnet that costs about $200 to $250, placing it very competitively in the mid-tier system. It has most of the Amethyst properties, delivering effortless detail, dynamic range, and musicality. The main difference is that it's not as analytical as the Amethyst, but at 1/4 of the cost, especially if you have a more affordable turntable, I would strongly recommend it. The ClearAudio didn't really put itself within the system, comparing it on a price-performance terms to any of the other moving magnet cartridges that I have. It was struggling to justify the price, mainly because there is a lot of congestion in the mid-frequencies. The real revelation to me was when I swallowed the bullet and decided to spend some serious cash and move into the moving coil territory with Sumiko. I chose Sumiko because I didn't want to borrow any cartridges for testing, especially after my disaster, and due to my prior experience with the brand. So I started with the Songbird, which was a genuine upgrade. I think I paid about $1,000 for it, replacing the Amethyst, that was my main cartridge. And everything opened up. Micro level details retrieval became more effortless and natural, the airiness stayed, the noise floor remained remarkably low and unnoticeable despite moving coil requiring more amplification. The dynamic range was expanded compared to the moving magnet, while the performance is more organic and the presentation of a moving coil is more natural. It was the time for the Starling. I have read the reviews, made a few phone calls, and I was ready to triple the stakes. My prior upgrades in the cartridge territory have proven that is one of these components that make the most prominent and impactful upgrade. When I started playing the Starling, my eyes opened up and I was extremely happy that I didn't do a mistake again. The reaction was instant and genuine. A moving coil cartridge in the level of the Starling, which is around $3,000, proves why the vinyl supporters are having such a strong bias towards the vinyl. With the Starling, my best pressings, like the McIntosh Sessions, 45 RPM, or Miles Davis or Buena Vista Social Club, 45 RPMs, were elevated further. It does everything the Songbird does, but more. The soundstage expands, as well as the imaging, and the layering and separation. While the details retrieval is considerably higher. It is not fatiguing or surgical, the music becomes so organic that the performance becomes naturally convincing while there is no noise floor. It's gone. This is the very best thing I ever heard in my listening room, and the best match. This journey is like getting glasses for the first time. You didn't know the world was so blurry until suddenly it wasn't. I think Cartridges is the space where the law of diminishing returns does not work, especially over $1,000. Yes, the Starling is 2 times or 2.5 times better than the Songbird. And yes, the Songbird is 2 times better than the Amethyst. People will tell you the opposite. Well, I strongly disagree. I think some gems hidden in the $200 to $400 range prove they are quite potent, affordable option, but still, an exotic cartridge makes such a big difference to ignore and justify diminishing returns. The key in all the above is the phono stage. Needless to repeat that in order to experience all this, you need more than a cartridge. You need a sound chain, a carefully curated system. I strongly believe, however, that cartridge changes up to $400 will be fairly impactful, even in a less revealing system. If this deep dive is helping you understanding cartridges, hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us a lot. And drop a comment. Have you ever broken an expensive piece of audio gear? Because misery loves company, and I need to know that I'm not alone in this journey. Okay, so what you should actually buy. If you are just getting into vinyl, start with a good moving magnet cartridge. The Audio Technica VM95SH or an Orthophone 2M Blue for $200 to $300 are excellent choices. They sound fantastic, have replaceable styluses, and almost zero drama. Live with that for some time and learn what you like. Build your collection. If you are ready to upgrade and you are serious about vinyl, meaning you are already spending real money on pressings and you are listening critically, then Moving Coil will start to make sense. Be aware, the Moving Coil world requires a more comprehensive phono stage solution. So, unless you are certain about your phono stage, do not do it. I would start in this range with a HANA EL or a Sumiko Songbird low output. This is in the $500 to $900 range. This will show you what Moving Coil is about without breaking the bank. Do not jump straight to a $3,000 cartridge. Why? You won't appreciate the difference yet. And if you break it, and trust me, you might as well do, you will hate yourself. My choice on this range was the Sumiko Starling. That is the one that I use on a daily basis out of my entire collection. Beyond the $3,000, only if you have the system to support it. A great turntable, great phono stage, great speakers. Otherwise, it's very likely you are wasting money. Most of the real competition on this high end is from HANA, ClearAudio and many others. However, I do suspect that Soundsmith has a statement to make with their Hyperion line, and we will do a video on this, I hope, very soon. So, what did I learn from breaking my cartridge? 1. Respect your gear. Cleaning is good. Being careful is better. 2. There are material sonic differences between the moving magnet and moving coil technologies, and these differences are very distinct. 3. Within the moving coil and moving magnet ranges, there are significant performance and characteristic variations. There are excellent moving magnet cartridges that can beat a poor moving coil design. 4. Always blame yourself because blaming your spouse. I'm still apologizing for that one. This video is a statement. If this saved you from a similar disaster, subscribe for more audiophile content. We have more detailed and extensive views on the topic, and these videos are in the pipeline. And seriously, tell me your audio disaster in the comments. I shared mine. Now it's your turn. Thanks for watching. Until the next time, take care and enjoy the music.